Caveman can go weeks without his favorite food and survive just fine. Caveman can travel days without comfort and keep moving. Caveman can endure pain, hunger, and exhaustion when hunting for his tribe. But ask Caveman to go one day without checking his phone. Suddenly, Caveman acts like he's dying of thirst in the desert, trying to quit scrolling. Caveman promises to stop for 1 week, but 3 hours later he's already sneaking glances, pretending he's just checking the time. Here's the paradox. Caveman actually knows deep down that his habit is hurting him, stealing his time, draining his energy, but Caveman keeps going back like a moth to a flame. Why is that? Why can Caveman survive brutal physical challenges, but can't quit a simple habit? Why do some cavemen out there seem free from addictions, while this caveman feels controlled by his? And the big question is there a way to break free from habits that caveman brain loves so much? Part 1, the survival loop. The answer starts with understanding how caveman brain learned to survive. For millions of years, caveman's life depended on one simple system, the habit loop. It works in 3 steps. Step 1, trigger. Caveman feels hungry. Step 2, behavior. Caveman hunts and eats berries. Step 3, reward. Caveman feels satisfied and survives another day. The brain remembers hungry equals find food equals feel good. Next time caveman feels hungry, the brain automatically runs the same loop. No thinking required. This system kept cavemen alive. The cavemen who built the strongest survival loops found food fastest, avoided danger best, and passed on their genes. The problem. Modern caveman still has ancient habit loop brain. But now the loop doesn't just build survival habits. It builds any habit. Feel bored. Check phone. Feel good. Feel stressed. Eat junk food. Feel calm. Feel lonely. Scroll social media. Feel connected. Caveman brain can't tell the difference between this habit keeps me alive and this habit is slowly destroying me. All it knows is trigger, behavior, reward. Loop complete. Do it again. Part 2, the dopamine trap. To understand why habits become addictions, let's look at what happens inside caveman's brain. Scientists studied how dopamine works during habit formation. First, when caveman discovers something rewarding like sweet berries, dopamine fires when he tastes them. The reward itself creates the dopamine spike. But here's where it gets dangerous. After caveman repeats the behavior several times, something changes. Dopamine stops firing when caveman tastes the berries. Instead, dopamine fires the moment caveman sees the berry bush. Then it fires even earlier when caveman walks toward the area where berries grow. Eventually, dopamine fires just from thinking about berries. The behavior becomes automatic. Scientists tested this with addicted rats. They gave rats a drug measured dopamine. At first, dopamine spiked when rats consumed the drug. But after repetition, dopamine spiked just from seeing the lever. The rats became slaves to the anticipation, not the reward. Here's the scary part, caveman's brain works exactly the same way. The addiction isn't about enjoying the habit anymore. It's about the anticipation. Caveman doesn't even like scrolling. But the moment boredom hits, dopamine screams, do the thing, and caveman obeys automatically. Part 3, the tolerance curse. Caveman thought his habit made him feel good. But scientists discovered something disturbing about repeated behaviors. Every time caveman repeats a habit, the reward gets weaker. It's called tolerance. Remember the berry analogy. First time caveman tastes wild berries, they're incredible. 10th time. Still good. 100th time. Barely satisfying. Brain adapts. Dopamine receptors decrease. Now caveman needs more berries just to feel normal. Same thing happens with modern habits. First time caveman scrolls social media, it's exciting. New information everywhere. But after months of scrolling, nothing feels exciting anymore. Caveman scrolls for an hour and feels empty. A caveman can't stop because his brain has learned. Boredom equals scroll. The loop is carved into his neural pathways like a trail walked 1,000 times. And here's the cruel twist. When caveman tries to quit, his brain panics. Dopamine drops below baseline. Caveman feels anxious, restless, miserable. Not because life is bad, but because his brain is screaming for the habit it expects. This is withdrawal. And this explains why quitting feels impossible. Caveman isn't weak. He's fighting against a brain that's been rewired to crave the very thing hurting him. Part 4, the habit detox. Caveman decided to try something radical, a full habit reset. Picture this. Caveman walks the same trail to the berry bush every single day for years. The path is so worn down he could walk it with his eyes closed. But then caveman stops walking that trail completely. For days, his feet want to walk that direction. His brain screams at him to go back. But caveman resists. After a few weeks, grass starts growing over the old trail. After a few months, you can barely see it anymore. That's the logic behind the detox. Stop walking the habit trail so the brain can build new paths. There are 2 ways caveman can detox. Number 1, cold turkey. Caveman quits the habit completely. No exceptions. No just one time, the first 3 days are brutal. Cravings hit hard. But if Caveman survives the first week, the intensity drops. After 2 weeks, the old trail starts fading. Number 2, gradual reduction. Caveman slowly decreases the habit. If he scrolls 2 hours daily, he cuts to 90 minutes for 1 week. Then 60 minutes. Then 30. Each reduction weakens the neural pathway without triggering massive withdrawal. The point isn't to torture Caveman. It's to let his brain rewire. Let dopamine receptors recover. Let the old trail disappear. Part 5, the replacement rule. Caveman knew he couldn't just remove the habit. Nature hates a vacuum. The trigger would still exist. Boredom would still hit. Stress would still appear. So Caveman needed a new rule: replace, don't erase. The habit loop has 3 parts: trigger, behavior, reward. Caveman can't always control the trigger, but he can change the behavior while keeping a similar reward. Example: old loop, feel bored, scroll phone, feel stimulated. New loop, feel bored, do 10 push-ups, feel energized. The trigger stays the same. The reward is similar. Only the behavior changes. Another example: old loop, feel stressed, eat junk food, feel calm. New loop, feel stressed, take 5 deep breaths, feel calm. The key: Caveman must identify what reward the habit provides. Is it stimulation, connection, escape, comfort? Then find a healthier behavior that provides the same reward. The new trail must lead somewhere good, or Caveman's feet will wander back to the old path. Part 6, 5 tricks to break any habit. Now that Caveman understands the system, he can use clever hacks to make quitting easier. Number 1, remove the trigger. Caveman can't eat berries if there are no berries in the cave. Delete the app. Hide the snacks. Make the bad habit hard to access. If the trigger never appears, the loop never starts. Number 2, the 10-minute rule. When a craving hits, Caveman doesn't say never again. He says not right now, maybe in 10 minutes. Usually after 10 minutes, the craving passes. The urge isn't permanent. It's a wave. Let it crash and fade. Number 3, track the streak. Caveman loves visible progress. Mark each day without the habit on the cave wall. Watching the streak grow creates new dopamine from achievement. Breaking the streak feels costly. Momentum builds. Number 4, accountability tribe. Caveman alone breaks easily. A caveman who tells his tribe, "I'm quitting this habit," suddenly has witnesses. He doesn't want to look weak in front of the group. Public commitment creates pressure. Pressure creates follow-through. Number 5, identity shift. This is the most powerful trick. Caveman stops saying, "I'm trying to quit scrolling." Instead, Caveman says, "I'm someone who doesn't scroll." The shift is subtle but massive. Trying means maybe. Being means identity. And Caveman always acts according to who he believes he is. Part 7, the choice of loops. At the end of the day, habits aren't the enemy. Habit loops are how Caveman survives. The question is, which loops does Caveman build? Loops that drain his energy, waste his time, and trap him in cycles of craving, or loops that build strength, create progress, and make him proud? Caveman will always have triggers. Boredom will hit. Stress will appear. Loneliness will creep in. But Caveman gets to choose what behavior follows. Caveman doesn't need superhuman willpower. He just needs to understand the loop and slowly build better trails. So the next time a craving hits and Caveman's brain screams to go back to the old habit, Caveman remembers, it's not about fighting the urge forever. It's about walking a new path until the old one disappears. The only question is, which trail will Caveman choose? Caveman says thanks. Smash that like button. Subscribe to the tribe. It keeps the new fires burning.